Okay, very good morning again, everyone. Thank you for joining today's Code Without Barriers virtual meetup. Today's topic is how to use effectively generative AI inside Copilot Studio. So, we will get into generative AI and how you can use it in the Copilot Studio more effectively. So, today's speaker who is joining with us is Bhagavi, who is a Microsoft MVP and also a C Sharp Corner MVP. And she's a global speaker where she talks in the multiple communities, sharing her knowledge with around the globe. She's going to talk a little bit more about herself during the session. That's all from my side, but I just wanted to put there the again that the session is recorded. There is a certificate at the end of the session. Do make sure that you clap it. That's all from my side, and I would like to move to Bhagavi to get started with the session.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Suraj, for the introduction. Let me share my screen and just confirm that if it's okay. Is it okay now or
Yeah, it is visible.
okay? Um, okay. Thanks for joining today's session. And in this session, we would be seeing about how to use effectively generative AI inside the Copilot Studio. So, what are we going to cover here is like, what does the Copilot Studio have inside it with the help of the generative AI? How can we develop the um, effective chatbots or your virtual assistant that would help you out? Is something that we would be seeing as part of this session. So before I go on to the session, let me give a brief introduction of myself. I am CR Bhargavi, working as a senior software engineer for Ford, and I'm a Microsoft MVP and a Microsoft certified trainer. And I do write articles under C Sharp Corner, articles and blogs under C Sharp Corner, and you can find my articles and links by scanning over this code, and you can get in touch with me by connecting with me through LinkedIn as well. Post the session if you have any doubts. I would be happy to help you. Okay. The agenda for today's session would be we would be seeing about what does this Copilot Studio is being useful for, and how can we use the Copilot Studio, and what are its limits and subscription that are needed for it, and post that what is generative AI inside the Microsoft Copilot Studio, that what we would be seeing about. And then this session is all about like a demo part majorly, and it would be focusing on the demo and not on the theory part. And I have very I mean, I don't have much slides over here to explain about it. So let us get started with it. Um, so, as we all know, the Copilot is Microsoft Copilot is part of like the AI assistant, which would be used for having the having the powered platform, which would offer the innovative solution across the Microsoft products, right? So, in the same way, Microsoft also has different things which are being available for it, like the Microsoft offers you Copilot and various things like Bing, Windows, and then Power Platform, Azure, and then GitHub. And one such Copilot which has been available for us is Copilot Studio, and we have copilots in different products, right? So those different products can be of used for different things, which are used for different kind of the things that what it can do. Say in example, Power Platform Copilot would be used as AI Copilot, which is like the one which would be used under the Power Platform. And then Azure Copilot is like the one which would be used under the Azure. And in such way, uh, Copilot Studio is like a different product which would be available, wherein It would be like used to have the solutions being developed inside it. With the help of Copilot Studio, you can develop your own virtual assistant or power or like the AI powered chatbots, and then you can integrate it with different channels which are being available. And with that, um, you can you can integrate the same inside and publish it and make it live and give it to the user. And that's the use of the Copilot Studio. So let's take a deep dive of what does this Copilot Studio mean, and post this we would go to our demo part and we would start seeing about it. So we had been saying about the Copilot for now, and this Copilot Studio is like where you can build your own Copilot inside it. Um, to be very simple, to put in very simple words, earlier we had something called as the Power Virtual Agent, and that Power Virtual Agent is something which came in into a new umbrella which is called as the Copilot Studio. What does this Copilot Studio do is something like you can customize your own Copilot, and then it would allow you to have the specific needs that what you have, and it also allows you to have the GPT models which are being used, and you can integrate it, and you can handle various tasks which are related to the question and answering within the workflow. Like what do we refer here as a workflow is the one which is the one which happens behind the scenes of creating your question and answer thing, right? So that happens behind the scene here. So it's one of the low code no code approach wherein you can drag and drop every single interface. Every single thing that has been available over the Copilot Studio, and or else you can just put in a prompt for now, and you can ask it to generate the virtual assistant for yourself. So it's like the uh, it provides a comprehensive and connected environment for building and managing the Copilot, which is like it would be helping you out in help helping you out in building the Copilots, which is useful for AI. And say in case like we are taking in an we are developing an chatbot which would be developed under the Azure AI Studio, which is under the Azure AI, and that functionality has to be used here. So what do we have to do? We have to get the Azure AI functionality, as well as we have to um, get the Copilot Studios functionality as well, right? So instead of that, you will have the Azure AI's functionality inside the Copilot Studio itself, wherein it would be allowing you to set the roles, system, and all the other things which are being available under the Azure AI, like the regular prompt engineering techniques which are being available. The same things would be available under the Copilot Studio as well, and you can go ahead and build the virtual assistant for yourself. So I guess we had saw and understood what does this Copilot Studio mean, and now that we can go ahead and start using the Copilot Studio such that we would be able to understand what does it mean exactly. Just a minute. Just a second, please. Okay. The link that what we would be entering inside the Copilot is like copilotstudio.microsoft.com. And when you start entering inside it, what happens is like you will get a default Copilot Studios work page. What wherein what you would be able to see is like you will be able to see the agents, and then you can create the bots which are needed for yourself, and then it at home page you will be able to enter the prompt that what you need here, such that at the back end you will be like you can see the virtual agent being developed, and your backend works are being handled by the Copilot Studio, and it would be ready for yourself. So let us now try with the simple Copilot Studio, just to understand that how does the Copilot Studio work, and then we would go in deep of adding the knowledge base and other things being added with it to make it understand ourselves with a better understanding for us. Yeah. So when we go inside the Copilot Studio, you would actually require a Microsoft account to get inside it. As you might have seen while I was entering inside it, there was a Microsoft account which was prompting in, and that is something called as the developer account for now, which is something that what I am using right now. And you can go ahead and get that developer account, and you can start using the Copilot Studio with the help of the same. And once you have did that, you will be you will be prompted to select the environment. Like the environment will have the you would have to choose for the subscription. Like you will be given 60 days of trial for every email ID that what you have. And once the 60-day trial ends, you would have to give reason on why you are extending your trial. But or if you are using an official account, then you would be charged based on the same. And I would be explaining about the charges in a while. And before that, we would see like what are the things that are available here. So you would have to select the environment which is there here. The environment can be of many things. Say in case like what does this environment mean is you have many departments inside your own company, right? Say in case like if you are working under a hospital, or if you are working under bank, then you might have different departments which are being there. Like HR is a different department, and you will be working as a different department, right? So HR should be differentiated, and others should be of like others should be off, should not be shown to the regular user, is something that what we can assume for now. And let us take that. And HR will be created as a different environment, and the others will be created as the different environment. And only when you are a HR, you will be given access to that particular environment. Unless and until you won't be given access to that environment. So this works in that way. And what else is available is like you will have the settings option being available. It's like the general settings which are being there, like the one which would be allowing you to have the Azure OpenAI access, which is like it it works based on the Azure OpenAI. Like what I was telling, Azure AI Studio like uh, is being using it. So it would be working based on the way that AI Studio would be working off. So it would try to get that here is something that what we can change. And then once you are done with it, you will have the different options which are being available on the right side as well. Like you can create a agent, or by giving the prompt, you can have the agent being created for yourself. So what do we mean by agent here? Agent is like the work which has to be performed by that virtual assistant is called as the agent. So what do you do inside your agent? You would be giving a name for it, and you would be instructing it on how does it want to work on, and you would also instruct it on what do you want to do, like instructions that needs to be given. And if you have some documents which are being there, then you would be giving here as the knowledge, and from there it would try to pick on, and it would try to give you back the result based on the knowledge that what you have given for it. This knowledge is something like the knowledge base which has been there inside the regular prompt engineering that what we use, right? So it's the same thing that has been available here. So you can give the knowledge base added, and that knowledge base can be of different things like the public websites or SharePoint or Dataverse or Power BI or anything of that sort. And you have different things which are being available, and you can get it connected. When you select the public website, it ensures that it has been publicly available, and whenever the Bing searches it, it should be available. If not, it would try to throw up a message saying that it is not available, so it's not a public website. um, Ensure that it is being visible under the ping, and once it is available, it is called as the public website. So SharePoint is something like when you want to um, add in your own data, or your official data being added over there, then you would go ahead with the SharePoint there. And Dataverse is like it's still in the preview stage, and once you are into the full subscription, you would be allowed to have the various options which are being there for yourself. Like you can drag and drop your own files, which can be of image, audio, or video, and based on that, it would try to answer the queries which are being related to the Power Virtual Agent. So it works in differently when you try to give in the data that what you need, right? So that works in that way. And this is all about the knowledge base. And when you had given everything, you would be creating it. And once you have created it, you would find that agent being added under the agents tab. So you can add the agents here. And the alternative of create is the new agent which has been there here as well. And what else can you do is you can import the agent as well. Say in case like you have developed under one environment, and that one that one agent has to be that one agent has to be reused. So you would be downloading everything, and you would be coming back here, and you would be pasting it over here, and you can import it here as well. You would go to the solution, and you would paste your export, which you had did on the environment that what you wanted to export, and you would be importing here. And once you are done, it gets exported here, and you can start using it. So what what else can we do with the Copilot Studio is like uh okay, now that we will take a simple example, and we would start using it. Say in case like you have the expense tracking or HR and benefits as one suggestion which the Copilot Studio by itself gives us, right? So when you click on that, you would see an option like create an agent for topics related to the human resources and employee benefits. So this is one thing which comes in automatically. Let's say that it's something that we need it as well and we would click on it. That's the way that we would be declaring the agent. And once you have given here, let's name it something like HR sample bot or something of that sort. So once you are done with it, HR sample bot, which would define about HR benefits. Okay. And instruction is something like we have to instruct it as HR. So you are telling it to do something. So let us now see. When you have created it, what it does is it would be setting the background flows and other things for yourself. And it's just a simple thing wherein you can go ahead and start using the agent as simple as that. So what you can do here, your bot is now ready. When you see here, it's like it would be like mentioning about what it has to do and what it would be trying to do. And all that it tries to give you as an answer is mostly based on the generative AI that what it has been trained on with the backend of Azure OpenAI and with the search of Azure Bing. Sorry, with the search of Bing. And whatever it tries to give on with the help of the generative AI, it tries to get back to the Azure AI and Open AI, and it would try to give you back with the result based on that. So what does it happen regularly as a prompt engineering, right? It's the same thing which happens here. So you have defined on what kind of the role it has to do as an instruction and what it has to whether it can have the generative AI responses being added or not is something that what you would be selecting on. And if it's been selected, then it would try to have the generative AI option being added for it. And once you are done with it, then you would be having the knowledge base and everything, right? So it tries to go and search with the help of the knowledge base using the Azure AI, and it would try to give you back with the result based on that. So once we are done with that, we would be having the like details and everything being given for it. And once we are done with that, we would be selecting the details and everything. So say in case like knowledge is something that what you would be clicking on and giving the knowledge details that what you need. And this is the same thing that what we saw earlier, right? So that's the same thing, wherein you can add the knowledge as your website or your own data or anything. And then topics is something like where you would be instructing on the bot on how does it want to react on what kind of response it has got. say in case like you are giving it as a hi, and it should reply you back as hey, hello, um, and those kind of things, right? Those kind of greetings that it has to do on, it has to understand that it's a greeting and it has to reply back as greeting. So that's something that what you would be defining here, right? So that becomes the action or topic. Sorry, topic. So when you click on each thing, you will have the regular conversation, or how does it want to, like, how do you want to build the flow is something that what you would be defining. And once you are done with it, what you would have an option is something like you will be like you are given the option of conversation start, right? So when you click on that, you will be having the option to add in everything here. So this is how previously we used to work on the Power Virtual Agent. But now when you click on Copilot and when you want to do some modification, then you would be clicking on and adding in here on what kind of the changes that what you want to do. And when you want to add some example, add a question to ask for the user for their name or something of that sort has to be added. So it gives us as an example based on the conversation which has been there. And also like say in case like the traditional way that what we have to develop, right? So we would be clicking on with it, say when you click on with it, and when you want to send a message or ask a question, I'm just putting it as an example here. So when you want to ask a question over here, this is cup you do. When you click on it and when you add it over here, you would be having the you would be having this, and you change it, like you you would be giving the name and everything, and from that it would try to give up the details based on that. And there are different things which are available over here as well. Like you can call the action, let us go and understand how does it work. But you can also add a condition, or you can add the adaptive code or anything of that sort. So now guess we understand about the topics. So this is how you define the topics. Like when you want to say some greetings, let me take a greetings, and let me try to make you understand based on that. So when you are giving in as a hi, let us just check with it, and you would try to understand. So when you are selecting with it, um, with a hi, this is how it does. Like, hello, how can I help you today? So what does it do? These are the things that what it has been trained on. Good afternoon, good morning, hello, hey, hi. If any of these messages comes, then it would try to give on with this message, which is hello, how can I help you today? So if you tell like these are the things that what you need, how many days of leave I have. So what it does, can you see on the left side how many days are left for me? So it tries to get back to the knowledge source which are been there. And if that knowledge source has a resource been available with it, then obviously it would try to give you back with the result based on that. Since no kind of knowledge source was there, it does not have the capability to give you back with the result of it. But it tried to give you up with a message saying that I'm sorry, I don't have access to personal or specific employee information. You may need to check with your HR department to use the company's leave management or something that what it had tried to give the detail on. So it's a regular message whenever it tries to fail. It is the same thing that what we had given on. So it tries to give the reply based on that. So this is how it works. And action is like when you want to call some kind of action. Say in case like you want to connect it with the connector, or you want to connect it with the custom connector. Like a new workflow has to be created, or a new API connector has to be there. Or say in case like you want to connect it or delete a row inside a Excel, then you would be using all these functionalities, and you would be developing an action here. It's not limited to Excel or other things. Here what you can do is you can click on with the flow and it gets connected with the Power Automate. So you can connect it with your Power Automate, and you can like and once you are done with that, just a minute. Yeah, when you want to use some API connection as well, you can go ahead and use it. Like the REST API can be uploaded here or used here, consumed, and then once you have consumed, you would have an option to make it work for yourself. Yeah, this is how we will be using the actions. And once we are done with that, we would go ahead with the activity. Say in case like you are modifying it. So when you had modified, you would get an option here, like what um what what did the customer wanted to react on, and how does it happen, is something that what all the history that whenever this kind of bot is being triggered, it would try to answer on. And channels is something like whenever you want to publish it, you have to connect it with Teams, or you have to connect it with Slack, or you have to connect it with some other things. Say in case like you want to connect it with Skype, uh, or Dynamic 365, or even the service now, then that gets connected. You are trying to say in case like you are trying to get in the details which are related to um, your tickets, and that tickets has to be of solved. So what do? You would get it connected to the service now, and you would work based on that. This is how it works. And before all, you should be publishing it. And once you publish it, you would you would be using this particular bot inside various channels which are available. So that's all about the Copilot Studio, and I guess you understood about it. And this is where you would be testing it, which is something related to your testing part. And when you click on settings, you have a different settings which has been available for yourself. Say in case like you want to add in the voice, or you want to add some details which are related to it. So what do? You would be clicking on with the voice, and when you want the voice option to be enabled, they are speaking it and you have to understand it, then you would be clicking on with this option, and once it's enabled, you would have an option for it. And entities is like the same thing that what we saw over there as well, right? Like you would be uh it's like a variable which would be used to have the various things which are being created. Like age can be an entity, and that age can be used into a workflow. Like um like I am of this age can be defined, and you are of this age can be defined, but age seems to be of a property which would be having, which can hold different kind of the values, right? So those kind of things which are used is something like being put inside the entity, and we would be storing it over there. um Entity is very similar to the dialog flow entity as well, wherein you would be using both as the same, because um, the dialog flow also works as the virtual assistant, and this also works as a virtual assistant, right? So it's the same thing. If you had used the dialog flow, then it's the same thing. And whenever you want to use the generative AI, then you would come here and you would select on with the options that what you have, like generative AI. When how does your generative AI have to look like? And when your generative AI is being selected, you would have an option to select the content moderation, how it has to be. So, what do you mean by content moderation here? Is like your, if at all your content is being off, um, is not into the ethical format, or which is being out of some other format, then it would try to moderate your content and it would try to stop. Say in case like if it's been harassed, or if it's been like violence, or if it's been self harmful, or anything of that sort which has been available under the Azure OpenAI, will be available under the Copilot Studio as well. And one thing that what you have to do is it should be of low precise or medium precise, or high precise is something that what you would be defining, and it would try to get the details for yourself. Like if it's been selected as low, more precise, then it would try to give you up with the details which are of low. And more precise is like it would try to have, or filter the contents which are related to the high and medium, and it would try to give you up the based on that. So it works in that way. And again, you can see change the bot settings over here by changing the icons or something of that sort whenever you need. You don't have to depend on when you start the agent first, it has to be off first. So this is something that what we saw. And say in case like you want to add in the knowledge base here, and that knowledge base can be of public website. For now, I am just making it to work based on the few live examples that what we have. Like um, what can we take for it? Okay, let's take some examples which are related to the websites, public websites. Wikipedia. Then I am giving it as Kaggle. Just the one step of it would be working, because one route alone would work. Or if you want to go down, it should be of just one parent down. Like 1 second. Let me get try to get it. Yeah, let me try to explain you now. Like when you are trying to level down the website, then it would not be allowing you. So this learn.microsoft.com is parent, and then you have leveled down one as English US, and answers are something that you have leveled down as second one. So that you should be leveling it until the second round alone, and post that it would not be accepting it. So once you had did that, um, let's take something else as well. What can we take? Had given Microsoft thing and then learn. Uh, okay, I guess this is enough because we had given enough details to add in over here. Now that, consider you would be having an option inside the Azure OpenAI itself, like the question and answer would be available, right? So you have to give it a time for it to get loaded. Just that the data's inside inside these particular websites are being loaded for your testing, and that would take a while. And post that you have to check how to get Azure AI subscription. So this is one question which has been there inside the Azure AI subscription. Okay. So whenever it tries to get, it would try to get the details which are related to the knowledge source. Earlier, there were no knowledge source, right? And out of which one public website which has the knowledge base been I mean, it had triggered to get the details out of it. Sign into the Azure portal, and you will find the subscription. And from there, you have to get the subscription. Now we can go and check with the reference that what it can try to give on, just to cross verify if it works fine or not. So it tried to give on with the detail on how we can get the details with the detailed step of whatever it had known. So this is something that it would be, I mean, this is how it tries to give detail on. It's just like the tag which has been available under the as answers. You will have various kind of the options which are being available, like Azure will have various questions being added under it, and from there you can have the things being added, like the data that whatever it has been there. Like, need help with the authenticator codes or something. This has two example, right? So let us now go and give it give it and try a shot out of it. Customize the bot name in MS Team whenever the when mouse is over. I had changed it. Let's see, like, if it tries to answer. If not, can you check that if it had given over the same thing? So it tries to read all the data inside it, and it tries to give you up with the data which are been there from it. So whatever the data that what is being there inside it, it tries to get, and it would try to give you back with the data which are being there for it. So this is where the generative AI plays a major role at the back end of the Copilot Studio, and it tries to give you up with the details out of it. now that I'm trying to end the session. So what it would happen, it would try to call the topic which are related to it, right? So it now has ended it. Thank you is something that what I had tried to give on, and whenever I try to give thank you, it tries to give you up with the result based on the things that what you had defined. That's it. So this is how the Copilot Studio works on a major thing. And now I'm now open up for any questions that what you have. And even if you are comfortable asking me over LinkedIn or any other platform, I would be happy to help you out with solving the queries which are related to it. You share the PPT. Okay, my PPT doesn't have much details inside it. It just shows about the Copilot Studio. I'm not sure if it could be useful. Um, anyway, the recording and other things would be available. I can share to Surek and he would be helping you out with it. Any other questions apart from that?
Okay, meanwhile, I think let's give it a minute for them to type the question. We usually gets it after
Yep.
2 minutes. Um, so again, thank you, Bhagavi, for taking the time to join us again. Really happy to have you again with us. Um, and thank you everyone for joining. Please do drop your questions, and I'll also drop the certificate link for you guys to be um, getting a certificate after the Q&A session. So if you have questions, if you drop it afterwards, I will drop the certificate link.
Okay. That was an interesting question. I actually missed it. One second. Let me take that up, and I can explain you based on that. Okay. When you see here, you have three different things which are being available. Regarding the license, it's like when you opt for organizational license, you have to pay around $200, which would be for 2,500 messages per month. And I mean, it would be off per user license which would be available, or if it would be available for the tenant license which would be there. So you can differentiate into three things, but everything which you are trying to use is all for like the all for the ones which are um, related to the Copilot is organization, and you won't have an option to enter it with your own date, with your own developer account, and from there you can sign in. I would share this as well so that you can read that out. How to use the Copilot for security? Is it free? Copilot for security. It's a different thing. If it's a different thing in total, say in case like it's a as in like Copilot Studio is a different product. You have different things which are being available for the Copilot Studio. I mean, you have different things which are available for security copilot, so you can go ahead and search for it. Obviously it's not free, but when you have Azure subscription, you can just give a try for it, but you have a trial version for Azure subscription, and you once you get it, you would be able to use it. Otherwise it's not free of cost. Okay, what's the difference between AI tools like Microsoft Copilot and ChatGPT? ChatGPT is a total different term, and Copilot is a different term. So, how does it differ with ChatGPT? Is like ChatGPT is used for having the uh, I mean, when you give on a prompt, it would try to give you back with the result based out of it, right? So that's how the Chat GPT works. When it's a text related, it works very well. But when it comes for AI tools like Microsoft Copilot, it's a assistant which would be available next to you. Say in case like you are a developer and you want to do something of that sort, like you let me just put a simple example so that you will understand it better. You are using a GitHub Copilot and Chat GPT, and when you go and click on when you go and start using the Chat GPT, what you would be doing is right like write two numbers which are write the difference between the two numbers which is greater, is something that a simple program that what you try to give in inside the Chat GPT, and it would try to give you up with the details or a program that what it has. The same thing when you go and do the same inside the Copilot Studio, it would also give you up with, sorry, not with the Copilot Studio, with the Copilot, which is the GitHub Copilot. So when you go and do the same, it would try to give you up with the same details, but with a change that you can customize your own data inside it. When you go and type in inside the Chat GPT, you would try to understand that, or if you are stuck in between, you would not be given an option to complete it. You have to explain it from the starting to the end, that what you had tried to do as a prompt, and from that you would try to get the details after that. Like when you are stuck in between, and when you go and give it to Chat GPT, and when you try to ask it like complete the whole program, then it would not try to understand and it would try to complete, right? But it happens inside the GitHub Copilot or Copilot which has been there. When you are stuck in between, it acts as your pair programmer. Like it sits next to you, and it would be doing some development for yourself, and would be helping you out for developing things, is something that it assures you, and it would be giving you up with the details based on that. That's the difference, major difference between the Copilot and the Chat GPT. Hope it's now clear. Sorry, that was a big explanation since it was a basic question.
I think I think we
We
went
are
over all
overrunning.
the.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I'm just gonna drop the certificate. So again, thank you for for joining with us, Bhagavi, and taking the time. Really appreciate it. I hope we will see again in the future. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining us as well. And I hope you guys will be joining our upcoming sessions as well, which happens on
Thank you,
10th and
Suraj,
12th
for
as well.
hosting.
Great, great. Happy to have you all the time. Yeah. Uh, yeah. Okay, that's it for the day. And with that, we are concluding the day. And I also already posted the certificate link, and I'll also drop our community link if you guys want to be joining a community. Thank you again, and have a good weekend.